thrill me.
I'm gonna name you Kodo. You get a name too, Podo.
His name is Happy Harry Hardon. He's a total sex maniac.
Of course.
Welcome to the Unkind Rewind, where we'll be getting to know our guest this week, Lori Ferraro, and her experience with a movie she loved growing up but hasn't seen yet as an adult. Before we go off, watch the movie and reconvene next week to talk about how well it aged and how her memory held up. I'm Josh Dugan, your host. I'm joined, as always, by my Manhattanese co-host, Sean McGrath.
Yeah, you prefer Manhattanese over Manhattanite.
Yeah. How are things, Sean?
Yeah, we're not even in the dog days. We're still in like the snake days? I don't know.
Yeah.
Leather pant wearing snake days of summer right here in New York.
The cruising days.
Would this be the summer of Sam? Like, would this be the timing of his? I think it was.
Yeah, it starts in...
I think it...
Okay, I'm talking out of my ass if I think I know when Summer of Sam started in the time of year, but probably, I would assume July.
Yeah.
Late July.
I did head to a bar down in really close to the Ghostbusters firehouse.
Okay.
Which is adjacent to a police station and is a, pretty well-attended cop bar.
Uh-huh. Were there a lot of handkerchiefs and pockets?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But there were a lot of retired cops who never really gave up going to get a drink after their shift, even though their shifts have ended. And there was a retired detective who, he didn't really crack the case, but he worked on the Berkowitz case and developed some type of strange relationship in terms of being cordial and respectful with him, where continued to talk to Berkowitz for many years after his incarceration.
Weird.
Very.
Did you overhear this, or did you this was something that you and he were talking about?
It was something, so I was there with a former alcoholic who just liked the scene and was now dry, but knew of this guy, knew of his stories. And so when I sat down with him, there was a prompt of hey,
okay,
tell my friend the story about Son of Sam.
Berkowitz.
So, yeah. I'd imagine, though. I mean, I think that the heat makes people angrier, so I imagine it was a pretty hot summer. I don't even know if he was angry. Probably, this is me defending a serial killer, right? That's how we're interpreting this. I'm fine.
So we didn't talk about Japan. How was it?
I really like that country.
Yeah.
I think you should go. I know that you were on the fence.
Yeah.
And it just took an old friend of yours to be like, Josh, you should go. Now you're making plans.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know how best to describe it other than there's an energy. This is without getting too, spiritual here, but they just have their act together. Even if they pretend they do. There's so much thoughtfulness just day to day with how the city's run, with how mass transit is run. It was cheaper to go out and go about my day on mass transit and eat meals than it is in New York.
Thanks, Trump.
Yeah. I have a gripe with the air train here in New York City when you land at JFK. They basically force you onto this light rail. And it spits you off at these two big transit hubs to get onto the subway, either Jamaica or Howard Beach.
Yeah.
You kind of have to go to one of those two spots if you're going to connect to the subway. So your time on the air train is pretty limited, between 5 and 15 minutes, usually about 10. It's $10, or $9 to do this air train, plus the subway. I'm only griping because it cost me $2.25 to do the same exact thing in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Does this mean that I kind of prefer to land at LaGuardia Airport where they don't have the air train and you take a free shuttle bus to the subway system? Yeah. Does it mean that I sometimes put myself in a precarious situation where I might not know if I'm getting on a plane that goes to LaGuardia when I damn well know I could get on a guaranteed flight to JFK? Yeah, I've also done that. So, shows where my priorities are on saving $10. We also, not to go too political on this, but It's a tough time to travel in general right now. A lot of people are getting flights canceled. A lot of people are having to go the next day or 2 days after when they've intended to travel. Staff is getting really stressed out. People are understaffed. Sometimes people are being pulled out of cockpits after just landing their planes. I don't know if you heard about that. ICE basically raided the cockpit and pulled a pilot out. Yeah. After he landed a plane in San Francisco. So, good job, dude.
He's probably in a concentration camp now.
Yeah. You just delivered 140 souls, as they would say.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And maybe, like, in time, this will age poorly. And he actually is a member of a terrorist organization. And boy, won't I look silly. But for the time, yeah, it does. There are many reasons why it's tough to travel.
Pretty low odds of that being the case, but...
Yeah, we have to leave a little bit of room for doubt. Just to cover our bases.
That much.
That much, yeah. I think Josh was actually touching his thumb and his forefinger together. So we're talking like microcosmically.
Yeah.
Some space in between there. I did go see one of my current, like, favorite working directors, Kiyoshi Kurosawa's new movie.
Okay.
I think you're going to love it. I love this guy. I think...
He did The Cure, right?
He did Cure.
Cure.
Yeah. He's done a lot. He's a working director, but a lot of the stuff kind of stays overseas, doesn't really get traction over here. He is not Koreeda Hirokazu, somebody who gets Oscar buzz and Oscar consideration from time to time, who I also think is fantastic. But the latest one is really good. So I encourage everybody to kind of go out and see that. I haven't seen kind of the big current mainstream summer blockbuster drivel out there right now. I haven't seen a Jurassic Park. I haven't seen a Fantastic Four. I haven't seen a Superman.
Did you see F1?
I haven't. What do you think?
I liked it.
Okay.
I mean, we both watch Formula One.
Yeah. You watch it more religiously than I do.
Right. I watch pretty much every Grand Prix. I might fall asleep. Sometimes I fall asleep if it's early.
There's a lot of white noise droning.
Yeah. It's easy to fall asleep during an F1 race. But I usually at least watch back the highlights if I fall asleep. So I think it did a really great job. Probably the best job I've ever seen a movie do of making you feel like you're in the fucking car.
Okay. And you weren't watching this in 4X at...
No, there was no IMAX. It's not playing on IMAX anymore. We went over the weekend and it's not still playing on IMAX. So I was kind of SOL on that, which I was bummed about. But
And your seat didn't rotate as you... Okay. Maybe that was just you in your seat?
That was my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, we both really liked it. I mean, as an F1 fan, there's some things that are ridiculous. And they're also like, I enjoyed it with the caveat that I know the stakes can't be that high because I know how F1 works. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to make a movie. Like, if you just think about it, like, how would you make a movie about Formula One? How would you plot that? Mm-hmm. I think they came up with a way that was at least smart enough, but it also has the thing that you're rooting for is still kind of not super, super important, but whatever. They worked well within the constraints of like having to write something that works in the F1 universe.
Taking your movie date out of the equation, would you say that this is a movie that would be effective and interesting to somebody who doesn't give a shit about F1?
I think so.
Okay.
I think if you're like really serious about F1, you're not going to like it.
Yeah.
Because I have that issue with a lot of baseball movies.
You just see too many.
Yeah, you can't suspend the disbelief like, no, this isn't how fucking free agency works or whatever. It doesn't have that.
It's like me watching Warrior.
Right, yeah.
Having been a former MMA journalist
right.
and fan. I'll tell you this, though, that fandom is slowly dissipating. My fandom for that sport.
Yeah, I hear you.
We've tried to not get too political here, but you can read into why. I would also encourage people and you to check out the 50th screening of Jaws, 50th anniversary. I think it's Spielberg's best.
Yeah.
It's so good.
You're not going to have any argument from me. The only one that's maybe close is Raiders.
Yeah. I think E.T.'s really fun.
It's just not something I care about.
Sure. But Jaws is great. It's got really good actors. Roy Scheider, what a stud. Yeah, and it's in a lot of theaters, a lot of cities, because it's 50 years since that movie came out. So I encourage people to go see that.
Birth the blockbuster.
And this is the first time I can say this, Josh, when promoting Jaws. This time, we are not getting a percentage of ticket sales.
Yeah, that's actually what keeps this podcast afloat.
But that's true what I just said, right? This time right now, this time that you and I are talking up Jaws, we are not getting a cut.
This time.
Okay, this time. Okay. Want to talk a little Unkind Rewind?
Sure. So, heading over to the socials on Blue Sky, TV and film critic Jen Chaney, who wrote As If, The Oral History of Clueless, skated, rewatched St. Elmo's Fire tonight, and I knew all the guys in it are kind of assholes, but OMG, they are such assholes, to which Gopher Balls said, have I got a podcast for you, and shared our episode on St. Elmo's Fire with Chelsea Kane. That was funny. She saw the tweet at least. Maybe she's listening to this.
Yeah, and I would say that if you're out there and you haven't gone back to either A, watch St. Elmo's Fire, or B, listen to the three of us eviscerate it. You got a couple fun hours ahead of you. Yeah. I mean, the first couple hours of watching it are going to be less fun. And then we welcome you with open arms.
It is a movie that I enjoy watching for the wrong reasons.
Yes, you have a weird, like, Stockholm Syndrome love with that thing that I don't. And I also didn't grow up with it.
I didn't grow up with it either, though. The weird thing is I didn't see it until I was like 19.
Yeah.
It's just funny to me how bad everybody is in it.
But you also have grown these tendrils of respect or interest in the actors that came from that. Like, they went off to do a lot of projects that Josh Dugan likes. And so I think you have kind of an inner, I don't know if I would even go as far to say like defense, but there's something that pulls you to these people. Yeah. Even as you watch them.
I mean, that was definitely the case with everyone who went to it in the theater too.
Yeah. I mean, they are charismatic and
they're just playing horrible people.
But they don't know it. They don't
know it. No one knows it. It's shocking that no one knows it.
Yeah.
It's really an experience.
Yeah. And it's like a tier of shittiness, right? That there's the S tier, which is like where we would slap Rob Lowe in that movie. And then like you can work your way down like A through D. Of course, S tier being the shittiest of the people in that movie.
Oh yeah.
But like everybody's, I mean, maybe
Mare Winningham is only...
She escapes?
Yeah, she's the only one who doesn't have, like, a pretty bad moment.
She could be, like, a non-applicable, like...
Yeah.
We can just give her an NA grade. Or, like, did not complete the course. But obviously...
Right.
Yeah, she's just a DNF, right, at that point.
Yes.
But, and I feel comfortable giving away the spoiler. Now that she's, like, hip to sex... Who knows how terrible a person she'll become?
Sure.
All right, we'll check that one
fucking
out.
Movie.
Yeah.
That fucking movie. Okay, so going back to just one of the guys on Letterboxd, Carlos Los Cantu commented, lots of commonality here for me, as I was definitely a latchkey kid as well with HBO, and in that age group for repeated watches whenever it was on. Funnily enough, I had a sister who would sometimes join in on watching too. There was something about this film she liked, and I think it came down to Joyce Heiser's performance and her character's primary motivation and goal in the flick. Now, though, I feel the look was more Johnny Marr, less Ralph Macchio. Pure coincidence, I'm guessing, as I'm not sure if the Smiths were even on the boss's radar at that time.
Okay.
And then, so last week, I mentioned that when Jackie and I were watching the movie before we recorded the main event, Jackie wondered when McDreamy was going to start delivering pizzas.
Right.
And you surmised that a lot of people mix up Loverboy with Can't Buy Me Love. About that,
it's like a Paxton Pullman thing.
Carlos commented on YouTube, visions in my head of McDreamy in a pizza delivery outfit making peeps believe they can actually buy love, until you made that very important distinction there, Josh. He also said it was available on Disney Plus right now for folks in the UK. On that same train of thought, after we dropped the Q's and T's up with Kennedy, Gopher Ball said, I confused this movie with another one you mentioned, so I kept waiting for the plot description to get to the pizza boy prostitute part.
God, he had a type. Dempsey, didn't he?
Then Gopher Balls added, and even though I saw just about every movie released in 1987 thanks to our $1.50 second run movie house, I did not see this until 2000 something on a bus ride to Yosemite, which I thought was weird. And he said, it was a bus from San Francisco to the park for a work retreat. The HR lady was in charge of movies on my bus, and this was her favorite. She was miffed when it got the MST3K treatment after we had a few drinks.
Yeah. One of those, like, built-in television sets on a bus?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the coach. They probably have 3.
Yep, I've been on those buses.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange way to take this in.
Also, I said this like from my personal Blue Sky account, but this HR lady's divorced, right? She has to have been divorced since then. Like, this is her favorite movie. There's no way she's not divorced. What the fuck?
Yeah. That's a long talk laying back on a couch with a therapist if this is your favorite movie.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I feel like we've already talked about Son of Sam, so, like, I don't want to unpack this more. But also, there's a big distinction between it being her favorite movie and then choosing to divulge that it's her favorite movie. Yeah. Those are two different people.
Yeah.
There's somebody who absolutely loves this and somebody who, like, wants to share it and might be proud
wants to share it with an entire bus of people.
On a work retreat.
Yeah.
This isn't like with the gals at brunch.
A lot of people are going to be looking askance at you.
Oh, man.
Ted Douglas responded to our Facebook post with a self-explanatory comment. You shit on my house.
They did. I mean,
yeah.
they shit found its way on their house.
It sure did.
Poor Kenneth.
And then after we dropped the Q's and T's episode, Mobius 13 said, really looking forward to this one. I remember 3 things: the lead actor, a dance scene, and his mode of transportation. Not that one, the other one. But after finishing it, he skated, finished it up, and is disappointed the right word? It was just real paint by numbers, almost junior Hallmark type movie making. It was fun seeing a very young Seth Green, but if you were to tell me this kid would grow up to become McDreamy, I would have laughed in your face. Glad I saw it for free.
There's so much to unpack here. I mean, I definitely encourage, if you're hearing this now, go back and listen to our very deep dive on that.
Very deep.
But just like Too Long Didn't Read, it's a movie that should have kind of set out to do one thing and maybe fail more humbly.
Yeah.
And yet it tries to do 2 things and so fails dishonorably.
Very much so.
Yeah. Like that would make more sense after you listen to Josh and I and Kennedy.
Yeah.
For a couple hours.
Now, Mobius 13 did add, I've already given my opinion on this film. So let's talk about that other teen sex romp flick Dempsey did in the 80s.
Jesus.
No, not 1989's Loverboy. I'm talking about the 88 R-rated French-Canadian production Some Girls with Jennifer Connelly. If you thought Can't Buy Me Love aged poorly, what do you do with a movie where Dempsey goes to visit his girlfriend in Quebec? And I'm adding this note. It's Quebec City, which is a beautiful city. And then, so he goes to visit his girlfriend in Quebec, sleeps with her before breaking up, then winds up being seduced by both her sisters and her grandma's ghost before returning home. Oh, and her dad is naked all the time. I have seen Some Girls pretty recently.
Really?
In the last year and a half, yes. It is a completely batshit movie. I really hope that it shows up on somebody's list because I will push for it.
I have never heard of it, and I'm guessing I'm in the majority.
Oh, yeah, no one's heard of this, but obviously Mobius 13 and I have.
Here's what I'm going to take away from everything you just said about Some Girls, okay?
Yeah.
I should visit Quebec City.
Yes. Quebec City, wonderful.
Okay, that's what I'm taking away from that plot description.
Yeah. Oh, so last week, obviously, we had Kennedy Knowles on. This week, we'll be having Lori Ferraro. I know there were technical issues with Lori's pre-interview
Mm-hmm.
that we worked around, but the sound's going to like drop out a little bit sometimes because we were pulling her audio off Zoom.
It's not too bad.
There were some technical issues with Kennedy's sound last week, which I edited them out as much as I could, but while her HVAC was kicking on, she was recording in the basement, and there's a hum coming through when she's talking for 7 or 8 minutes at a time, which I found out very rudely. I had a rude awakening when I went in to edit it, and about 3 minutes into her talking, here's this HVAC, and I can't back it out of the fucking channel. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Well, dear listeners of the Unkind Rewind, spare us a little bit of leniency on that. But the takeaway from that is that both these women are just so fierce.
Yeah.
That we need to dilute their fierceness a little bit with some audio hiccups.
Yeah. The podcast gods are cursing them.
Yeah.
Podcast gods are they're misogynistic.
Yeah, they really
are.
Let's be honest. Yeah. Like old school Greek gods.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not even like Apollo. Like we're talking bearded ones.
Like the Titans.
Yeah. Cronus.
Big time.
But yeah, Lori is one of my dearest friends. And even if I was her fiercest enemy, I'd have to admit how talented and funny she is. And she's just, the movie we picked, which again, she had no say in this.
No. She
gave us a list. We picked the right movie for Lori.
Holy shit, did we?
We didn't know how right we were when we were picking that.
We'd seen it, but it had been probably 20 years for both of us.
But you and I did not do some kind of psychological deep dive on Lori.
No.
That would have spit out the little paper card that said the name of the movie that would best prove therapeutic, cathartic, and vastly interesting. And yet somehow we did that. We got really lucky.
This is like one of the kind of most randomly beneficent choices we've made to like what the episode ends up being.
Yeah. We got really fortunate with what we picked. And not to say that like if we had gone with any of the other movies on her list, it would have been like teeth pulling, because she's got great improvisational instincts. She would have gone with the flow. Spoiler, if we had gone with Caligula, which wasn't on her list and wasn't a movie that she's ever brought up to me, it would have been a great episode. But the movie that we ended up going with Lori, just the fates aligned. So maybe the fates were fighting the gods or the Titans.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Someone took Greek mythology. Someone knows her classics.
Someone read Percy Jackson?
Someone read Percy Jackson. Yeah, I didn't get any of the references in that series for young adults.
Uh-huh. But this is a really fun talk with Lori Ferraro.
Where would you put this movie on like terms of visibility? Think everybody's seen this, or?
I think a lot of people have seen this.
Okay.
I think this is a movie a lot of people saw. Like, obviously, just in terms of...
It's more visible than the last two kind of high school movies, I think.
Yeah, probably.
It had to be. I don't know about box
the
office.
weird thing with just one of the guys is it was just so ubiquitous that I think everyone kind of happened across it because it was on HBO for 10 years.
I think that there's a lot of people who know of just one of the guys and
have not seen it. Yeah.
Or just remember it but don't recall the title.
That's probably some of it too. Like,
they're like, oh yeah,
you just the movie at the
movie with the thing
prom
at
the end with
the shirt.
Oh, you mean the movie with the tits at an hour 26? Yeah, I know that movie.
I think it's an hour 24, actually.
Yeah, something.
Maybe like 25 seconds. Not like I have that bookmarked anymore.
Yeah, I think this next movie is one that even more people have seen than those two.
Yeah, I think that's...
Yeah. I don't think it's quite in the Space Jam or...
Fried Green Tomatoes?
Yeah, Space Jam, Fried Green Tomatoes. Everyone saw Cocoon, but hasn't seen it in 30 years. Younger people haven't seen Cocoon, but everyone our age saw Cocoon. Maybe The Craft is above that. Lost World, Jurassic Park, a lot of people saw, but I don't think anyone likes.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I've already saw that. But yeah, you'll know this title.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you'll certainly know the leads.
Yeah, man, the next four are all pretty big movies.
Bangers.
Yeah. Anyway, this one with Lori is great. Without further ado, Lori Ferraro. Welcome, everybody, to another Q's and T's installment of the Unkind Rewind. I'm Josh Dugan. As usual, I'm joined by my co-host, Sean McGrath. How's it going, Sean?
It's going great. Yeah, excited for this one.
Yeah, this should be fun. We are joined by Lori Ferraro.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Great. Yeah. So, for the audience at home who may not know you, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Lori?
Sure. I live in Portland, Oregon. I do mostly sketch comedy at the Siren Theater. I do local film stuff that comes to town, local commercials, TV stuff that shoots here in Portland. I'm originally from New York, lived in Florida for a while, and came out here when I was 18 and swore I'd leave and never went back to the East Coast. I mean, I still go back to visit and I miss New York like crazy. All my family's still there for the most part.
You didn't mention Florida as someplace you miss?
You know, Florida was a great place to be a teenage girl in 1989. It was a great place to spend formative years. Would I go back? No, Tampa.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is before they had a baseball team, which would have
Oh,
been
yeah.
all that Sean and I cared about.
The Rays, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Formerly the Devil Rays, but
Yeah, then they were just the AAA affiliate for the Yankees, I believe.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Lori, when was it that you kind of knew that the West Coast and Oregon had gotten its hooks in you? When do you think that was like, oh, I'm just going to be out here for a little bit, maybe college.
Yes.
And then you were like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. I kind of love it out here.
Yeah, that was like, because when we moved out here, like my dad just got a job transfer. That's what took us from New York to Florida. And that's what took us from Florida to Oregon. And I was like,
which is what you called it when you showed up?
I am not staying in Oregon. I went from Tampa, Florida to Bend, Oregon.
Yeah.
Because I started out at Central Oregon Community College and everyone was wearing Birkenstocks and real earthy and stuff. And I was like full makeup, giant hair, tan as can be. And I felt like I was from another planet. But then like I did 2 years in Bend, I transferred to U of O, and then there was a thought of moving back, and I just liked it here way too much and I stayed. I don't know. I'm a sucker for the rain, I guess, and the gray.
Now, your phrasing of you did 2 years in Bend, it sounds awfully lot like a prison term. Is that how you would qualify it, or?
I didn't have good enough grades to go from high school and get into a 4-year school, but my parents really wanted me to have a dorm experience. And this was a community college that had dorms, COCC, Central Oregon Community College. It was also called Cock on the Rock. Yeah, it was really, really fun. And I made some great friends there. And community colleges can have fun dorm life experiences.
When you showed up as this kid from Florida,
Yeah.
do you think that it was more that these Birkenstock granola eating hippies were just like, they didn't care about you, they didn't notice you, you didn't really cause any ripple effects, or were they all lowering their sunglasses slowly from their face as you walked in?
They were looking at me like, we don't know what to do with this. And my roommate didn't show up for like several days. So I felt very alone
Right.
until I met a girl named Wanda from Klamath Falls, who was like a total butt rocker. And her room was decked out with like posters of Whitesnake, Rat, and Chippendales guys. And then I was like, I want to be roommates with Wanda. So then we talked to the RA and I was able to move into Wanda's room. And she and I, we were great. We loved Skid Row. We loved Whitesnake. We loved Chippendales.
Right. And then the girl that showed up a few days late had a room to herself.
Got kicked out. Like she was in an area of the dorms with all these partying girls, and Wanda partied too, but Wanda was there like on a scholarship and was like, we'll party, but you're going to also learn how to go to school, Lori, and get good grades.
That's the community college way.
That's right. If I would have stayed in the pit, what they called it, the lower half of the dorms, the pit, I would have probably flunked out of school. Wanda saved me.
With Skid Row and Chippendales.
Thank God.
So then you get done with school at U of O.
Yeah.
And then was it an immediate jump into this sketch world, acting world from there? Or did you take time to kind of find your footing there?
So, being a theater major, then you graduate in, the mid 90s. And I remember my mom taking me to Macy's to buy a suit so I could go interview for a job. And I was like, where am I supposed to go? And what am I supposed to do with this suit? And I remember standing in the dressing room trying that on and like looking in the mirror and thinking, I don't know who this person is. I don't know where I'm supposed to go wearing this. But I did end up doing some local dinner theater, like a murder mystery company that tours. And when she said, Lori, would you be interested in going on a tour? I thought like to the coast. I knew they did that. But I went on Department of Defense tours overseas and I entertained our troops. Right. I went to Japan, England, Okinawa, Bosnia, Croatia, Macedonia, saw like the world and entertained the military doing silly murder mysteries, but they were so appreciative and so great. Sometimes we would have to like follow a band or like the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. That was the worst because they're like, bring back the cheerleaders. We don't want to see these kids dressed up like baronesses and villains and
coming in with a fake candelabra.
Exactly.
I believe there's been a murder here.
Ooh.
Well, and as a Chippendales fan, I'm sure you can put yourself in that headspace, like
right.
Absolutely. I would rather see the band than see a little murder mystery. No, but it was such a great experience. I always say like I learned so much more doing that than I did at community college, at least.
Well, Lori, I want to go out on a limb and say that you probably got a better reception than I did when I was on a USO tour as a Chippendale. Because let me tell you, we were not appreciated.
I don't know. I wish I could have seen that, Sean.
Well, I will say that the makeup of the armed forces was primarily male back then.
Mm-hmm.
It skewed a little bit in the direction that might appreciate Chippendales a little bit more. But yeah, it was tough for me to keep going back year after year for that.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Do it for your country.
I did 8 years because of that. Yeah. Especially, it was the only way to fight terror.
Yeah. Good job. Good job.
So you find a kind of a juncture. You do, believe me, as somebody who studied theater in college, it doesn't feel like as soon as you graduate, there's somebody there from job placement.
Right.
Who's like, here, let me see the roles that you've done. Okay, well, we do have these positions available across the country in these shows. Why don't we...
Exactly.
No, it's like, what can you do in order to do the thing that you studied and are good at?
Exactly. Yeah.
So did you bartend and barista and do all of those things that so many other of us... people who didn't graduate. Yeah. People who didn't graduate with a usable degree.
No, I went like right into, I was working at Portland State Athletic Department. I went right into like office stuff. And that's kind of like been from there to a real estate agency, and now I work at an investment firm. It's like I just always kept the day job,
Hmm.
and I do what I love, in the evenings and on weekends is my real job.
Do you think the trajectory of those real jobs started with that power suit from Macy's?
Maybe,
I mean,
maybe.
if you hadn't got that suit,
It was navy blue and it was so boring. And it was a skirt, like a calf length skirt and a jacket. It was so unattractive. Like now I have cute suits. Now I know how to wear a suit. I didn't know. It was like, 24 years old and thinking I'm going to move to LA. I'm going to move to New York. And
kind of a
yeah,
flight attendant length skirt.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Not a good length on a short gal.
But you now feel like you've had enough time with this, the happy medium of the dichotomy of Lori of playing
Yes,
the power suit.
yes,
She works her 9 to 5.
yeah. I work hard for my money.
Yeah, and you're juggling this also as a mom.
Uh-huh. Two boys, a sophomore in college at Oregon State and a junior in high school.
So, Josh, I don't know. Do you think this is now a good time to kind of ask her about her
Childhood, I think, yeah.
early childhood and what that was like, maybe in relationship to movies?
Yeah, so about when did you move from New York to Florida?
I was 13.
Okay. And then did you finish high school in Florida and then start college in Oregon?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Moved from Florida when I was 18.
So, what would you describe your childhood with movies being like?
Obsessive. Like we got HBO when I was in New York, and I would go through the TV guide and I would mark with a pencil the movies on HBO that I was going to watch. HBO was just always on. Like it was on a loop. When I think of, we would go every Sunday to my grandmother's house, big Italian family. Every Sunday we would spend there, and I would go up to the den, this room they called the den, and I would just put HBO on, and whatever was on, I was watching it, even if I had seen it a bazillion times before. So, like, two movies that I watched over and over, and I always go back to, and they're two of my favorite movies of all time, are The Elephant Man and Mommy Dearest. Like, those two movies, I could just recite that. I could do a one woman show of those two movies. That I would, and then my grandma would come in and she would sit with me for a minute and she would hold my hand and she would rub my hand and tell me, your skin is so soft, Lori. You're so soft. Why is she hitting that baby? Stop hitting that baby. And then she'd like leave the room and she'd come back her and she'd be, yes, she would just make all these terrible comments about whatever I was watching. Bad News Bears. Then we got different the movie channel, Cinemax. And then I was like watching things like Emmanuel and Lady Chatterley's Lovers. And so, like, I was discovering all sorts of things through movies, Porky's, all of those kinds of movies. And my father loved quite a bit. So I was
Horror
watching
movies.
a lot of
You
stuff.
kind of cut out there. You said horror and not porn, right?
Horror. Yeah.
Not horror movies. Horror. So I was watching a lot of stuff that I was way too young to be watching, just sitting watching with my dad. But and I absolutely love that genre to this day. Lots of horror movies growing up. Yeah, HBO just was always on, always watching movies, always, always.
How old were you when you were watching Lady Chatterley's Lover?
Probably like 13.
Okay.
Yeah, like I would set my alarm and sneak downstairs because I could see in the TV sheet when it was
Sure.
going to be on. And I'd watch a little bit and go back to bed.
So so you had like basically planned out your weeks and then were coordinating when you could see some R-rated content. But were there any kind of safeguards, or not safeguards, but were there any limits from your parents to what you could watch?
No,
Really? Okay.
no.
They trusted you to make your own decisions on that.
Yeah. And they, Mike, were just always watching. I mean, it was like 70s and early 80s. It's like the television was just never not on.
Yeah.
It was just like constantly on in the background. And we were still of that age going out and riding our bikes and playing in the street and playing wiffle ball and like playing kickball. But we were also like, we got to get home because 9 to 5 is on and I want to see that again. You know, we were just like, it was like important. Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas is on. We got to get home. Like all of these things that we had to see over and over and over again were on, and we had to see them. We couldn't.
Did these
miss it.
premium movie channels take the lion's share of how you were watching movies, or did you also have a ancillary video store that provided a lot of these things as well?
Oh yeah, and then when we moved to Florida, my first job was at a mom and pop video called Video Show. And that was like one of my favorite jobs ever. I worked at 2 video stores, that one, and then one in Florida called West Coast Video, a chain.
I'm sure they're both thriving. No need for a follow-up question
Yes,
there.
Video Show, West Coast Video.
It was on the west coast of Florida.
There you go. There you go. That must have been it.
West Coast was in quotes.
Totally. I think I still have my card. I'm going to dig around and find that. And I had, yeah, we had to wear a uniform at that one. But my first job at like 16 was at that just little mom and pop one. That was great.
Was it just the best job ever?
The best.
Yeah.
The best. I loved staring at those boxes all day and like walking around and reading all the boxes and getting free rentals. And yeah, it was great.
This is a side question, but was there a particular movie's box art that you never saw, but still sticks in your mind as kind of an indelible image?
A movie that I never saw, but
you never saw, but you know, the box.
Oh man,
mine is Ghoulies.
Oh, I've seen Ghoulies so many times.
But you know what I'm talking about because there's like a troll in the toilet.
Yeah,
I've done a podcast on Ghoulies.
How many seasons did that run, Josh?
Well, it was a bonus episode for Munch by Benson because Hargitay's in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mariska herself.
Oh,
the original Ghoulie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she is in it. We watched Ghoulies.
Yeah, it's Lisa Pelican's the main, but Hargitay's the second billed actress.
Watched that just this past Halloween. We were like, what should we watch? Probably Ghoulies.
Why wouldn't you?
I'm trying to answer your question, Sean, about the boxes, because the boxes I was so obsessed with, but I feel like anything I was looking at, I was like, well, I'm going to watch that.
Yeah, you could rent it for free.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
mm-hmm.
Did you go to the movies too?
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, I dated a guy, of course, who worked at the Mission Bell Theater in Tampa and wore like a little tux. His name was Raphael. And he let me, like, instead of wearing like his Letterman jacket or his nameplate necklace, he let me wear his little, tag, his Raphael Mission Bell Theater name tag.
That's how you knew it was serious.
Right. Yeah, I remember sneaking into Nightmare on Elm Street while I was dating Raphael. Yes. And I mean, then we would cruise Mission Bell, which was like a little, you would drive around, or you would drive like you wouldn't want anyone to see your dad dropping you off there. So you would like duck down in the back seat and jump out. But we would go to whatever was playing, like everyone in the 80s.
Outside of Ghoulies, do you remember the box art for Screwballs?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was that. Yeah, it's like a off screen or out of the picture hand kind of snapping a bra or a swimsuit.
And aren't the letters kind of neon-y looking, or like thick bubbly letters that says Screwballs?
Yeah, I believe the sequel was known as Loose Ends.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Screwballs 2. Again, a movie that just kind of stuck with me. Never
Mm-hmm.
ended up seeing it, but the longer we do this podcast, the higher the risk
Right.
runs that we will.
You will.
Definitely a risk, too.
Yeah.
So I guess getting to your list,
Mm-hmm.
you submitted, and these are the ones that you couldn't recall. We sort of eventually came to knocking out the ones that you felt like you could still pretty much recite.
Yeah.
So you had Down and Out in Beverly Hills,
Right.
Urban Cowboy,
Oh.
The Incredible Shrinking Woman,
Oh.
Turk 182, which never fucking heard of.
What?
Never heard of it.
It's a good movie from what I recall.
Wait, the list isn't done.
The list isn't done. One more. Midnight Madness is the last one.
These are all movies that I have not seen. Like Sean made it clear. Like these are movies I watched a ton, but I haven't seen them since, you know, the 80s.
You might be, I'll tell you this, Lori, and I say this as a friend, but you might be the only person who's ever seen Turk 182.
What? You haven't seen Turk 182?
I've never heard of Turk.
Never heard of it. I've seen like
pick Turk 182?
We'll get to that.
I wanted to. I really did, but I felt like no one would have any idea what we were doing a podcast about.
But see, there is something,
Blue Tyler Nudes, Turk 182.
We have talked about this before, but everybody has a Turk 182, and it's all different. There's always a movie that you grew up with that you've seen a million times that you probably owned the VHS or the DVD, or it just was on all the time in your region, that for whatever reason, nobody else has any idea what you're talking about.
How funny. Oh my gosh. I really want you guys to watch it though. It's a good movie.
I'm sure Josh...
I'm a weirdo. I'm going to watch it. But good. We didn't go with that.
Okay. Oh, I'm so excited.
Well, what do you think we chose?
I thought you were going to pick that. And I was just like, it seems most obscure and most, I don't know why, but I was like, I think Sean knows that movie and would pick that movie.
I absolutely have a morbid curiosity about it. And I, like Josh, I will track this thing down and see it. But for the purposes of talking to you about a movie from your youth, we did not pick it.
Okay.
Instead, Josh,
we're going with Urban Cowboy.
Oh, beautiful. I mean, yes, I will gladly sit down and start to finish watch Urban Cowboy.
Right on. Well, memory can be a tricky thing.
Mm-hmm.
Having not seen Urban Cowboy in decades, briefly describe what you remember the plot of Urban Cowboy being. Not too much, like minute or two, and maybe don't give away the ending for the audience who will be potentially watching it for the first time.
Okay, so John Travolta is a cowboy.
I'm already on board.
Yep. Totally tracks.
Assuming he uses an accent.
Yes. His name is Bud. Deborah Winger is Sissy. Now that I very much remember because of the little license plates that they have in the back of their truck, Bud and Sissy. And when they fight in the movie, I believe he takes the Sissy like small license plate away. And I think at the end I don't want to give it away, but I think he puts the Sissy license plate back up. But what is it about besides John Travolta is a cowboy? It's about a bar named Gillies. And Charlie Daniels plays Devil Went Down to Georgia. And there's an uncle in the movie that plays part. I think John Travolta, he needs a job. And he works maybe in construction. Uncle, and I want to say the uncle's name is Billy or Bobby or and they all go to Gillies together and they dance, and Sissy wants to ride a bull, and then Bud and Sissy break up. Oh, and then Deborah Winger gets this horrible boyfriend that has like really bad scars on his face, like just really bad complexion. And then something happens with the uncle, I think. And then Bud gets a girlfriend with really long straight hair, like 70s hair, like Crystal Gale hair, and she's real pretty. And then Bud and Sissy break up, and then they get back together. That's how
The Urban Cowboy.
that's the story of Urban Cowboy.
Do you know what, like, at least superficially, the title means?
I think John Travolta had just come off of Saturday Night Fever. Like, I'm just picturing him strutting down the street in the opening credits of that, but now he's a cowboy. So maybe he wants to move to the city. I don't think there was that aspect to that movie about him. But Gillies must have been in the city, right? The honky tonk.
Are we in Texas? Are we in do you know where we are?
Oh, somewhere where you talk like this, somewhere in the South.
And Travolta is doing that. You remember?
Sissy's always like, I'm going to ride that bull, bud. I'm going to ride that bull. And he's like, no, you're not, Sissy.
Is it a real bull?
It's a mechanical bull.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's real sexy on the bull, and he doesn't want that.
I would imagine that the mechanical bull operator is not going at 100% if she's looking real sexy on that bull.
Yes, you're probably right. Yeah, I just remember her like being where, like that on the bull.
Throwing some hips into it.
Mm-hmm.
Did she look better on the bull than Travolta?
Does John Travolta even ride the bull? I don't know.
I don't remember.
She wears tank tops with no bra. You know that.
So, Josh, what is your quick association with Urban Cowboy?
I've seen it once.
Yeah.
I saw it back in about the same time that I've seen most of these movies, like 2005 or so.
Yeah, I think I saw it a little bit before that. Saw it once. Even the things that Lori's talking about outside of the bull, I'm very fuzzy on. Very fuzzy. So, yeah, I know Winger. I know Travolta. I know the era, so I have an idea on how young they're going to look in this.
I can picture Gillies.
But plot-wise, I am at a complete
Nothing.
zero.
Yeah.
Remember the uncle in the construction company?
Not at all.
Nope. So, how old were you when this was like a fixture, a mainstay, something you were watching on the reg?
I think 15-ish.
Okay.
Like whenever it was on again, HBO is when I was watching it. So I wasn't little like I was when I was watching Elephant Man and Mommy Dearest.
Such a bizarre pair of movies for a little kid to be watching.
I know. I even have on my fridge, I have an Elephant Man and a Mommy Dearest magnet. Not together, separate, two magnets.
Yeah, pairing the two would probably be the theatrical piece of your life. So was this the same type of scheduled viewing that you would do, or was Urban Cowboy more of like this is on, it started 20 minutes ago, but I'm going to sit down and finish
that
up.
Was it. It was that type, like, this is on, I will land on this.
What do you think you were like at 15?
What was I like?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Desperately trying to figure out who I am. And very low self-esteem, I'd say, and looking at the women in this movie like, I wish I looked more like that, that type of thing. And also huge Travolta fan. I mean, from Grease and Saturday Night Fever, holy moly. So I was also watching quite a bit for that.
Well, and also for a girl down in Florida, like Travolta, who is very much the embodiment of a Jersey, New York, Italian American. He must have felt in some ways nostalgic too. For you.
Yes, he felt more like home, even though he was a freaking cowboy.
Right.
Yeah. I was like, that's still John Travolta. Like he can put that hat on, but I'm like, that's John Travolta. That's not a cowboy.
The hat comes off.
The hat comes off. And yeah, oh boy, he sure is handsome back then. Oh.
Yeah.
When do you think the last time you saw this was?
I was definitely like teens, I would guess.
Okay.
I mean, maybe early 20s. I'm way older.
So probably like either right when you went to Oregon or beforehand.
Yes. Sitting down and watching it. Yes.
So was it mostly the Travolta and the aspirational thing of the women that appealed to you about Urban Cowboy? Or do you think it was something else?
I think it was mostly the Travolta factor. And I was like, do I like country music? I notoriously dislike, like I don't like any country music, and I hate all that poppy country music today. Like no, not even Urban Cowboy. I did like Devil Went Down to Georgia. And I remember, there was the other song. There's a love song in it. I spent a lifetime looking for you, looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for love. Eddie Rabbit, maybe, or maybe not.
That's from this?
I think Looking for Love was like the love theme in that song.
It
I think that might have been
composed for the movie then.
Yeah. And I like that. But I was, even that movie couldn't make me want to put on a cowboy hat or some boots or something. I don't like that.
So this didn't like spur, no pun intended, a phase for you.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Like other movies did.
You were still like, I'm just going to the beach. I'm going to the mall.
Yeah.
I'm
not going to a
dance.
honky tonk now.
Yeah. Was the bull attractive for you? Is that something that you ever did get around to?
I never rode a mechanical bull.
Okay.
Yeah. I probably should look into that. I guess.
Probably 0 for 3 here on this podcast. Josh?
I've watched Patriot enough to feel like I've ridden a mechanical bull.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but you've never got up on a longhorn.
No. Neither mechanical nor real.
Well, I didn't ask about that because I didn't want to touch on a sore subject, but
yeah, my rodeo passed.
Yeah.
Mm.
You did live in Texas.
I did for like 12 years. So, do you have any memories that particularly stick out about Urban Cowboy, like watching it maybe with somebody or having some friend who was also super into it, anything like that?
Having grandma rub your hand.
I do remember because my mom loved John Travolta during that era, and she in her closet had a Time magazine cover, I think, of him doing the Saturday Night Fever pose, like that shot from the movie. So she really liked him too. And she would just breeze in and out and talk about, oh, he's just so handsome. He's just so good looking. Oh, John Travolta, so good looking. And I was like, yeah, you got that picture in your closet, Mom. I know you think he's good looking.
A lot more pictures like under the Afghan that are folded up in the dressers.
I mean, I just have. Can I pop out of this for 1 second to show you guys something?
Yes.
Because like as we talk, I am just staring at my John Travolta.
Oh, look at him.
like yeah.
Okay.
So Lori has some type of dream board here.
This is my husband made me this for my 50th birthday. And I mean, it's all movies. So Grease.
It's a bunch of collector's items that are framed behind glass. There's Rocky.
Rocky fan, huge.
And they look to be like movie playing cards. There's Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Rolling Stones, Florida, New York.
Well, it is quite serendipitous, though, that we are going to be talking about
I was just like looking and was like, I have to show I'm looking at John Travolta as we speak and my VHS copy of the Dirty Dancing that I have just so I can look at it and think, Dirty Dancing.
Do you also have a working VCR player?
No.
No. Why would you
I also can't log onto my computer and plug in a microphone.
Running a VCR would probably be easier for you to do than all that computer tech.
I bet I could do that.
Yeah.
That.
So I don't want to presume that you can speak for all Italian American women.
Yeah.
But speaking for all Italian American women, do you think John Travolta was the intergenerational Italian American heartthrob of the 70s and mid to late 70s through the mid 80s?
For sure. Like from Vinnie Barbarino to, yeah, Danny Zuko to
The Boy in the Plastic Bubble.
Oh Boy in the Plastic Bubble. Oh God, we should have watched that together.
Can always come back.
I don't know that that has the staying power that Urban Cowboy does.
Probably
Yeah,
right,
and
but
I watched Boy in the Plastic Bubble in school. I did like,
so did we.
yeah. I don't think a teacher could pop on Urban Cowboy, but I guess we'll find out.
Now, were you jealous of his love interest in the Boy with, or the person who he was married to her, right? Not even love interest, but like the
Boy in the
actress.
Plastic Bubble, yes, and she was like way older than him, right? And that was like so weird back then, of course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and she died during filming of Saturday Night Fever or Grease. I can't remember.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was like so tragic. What was her name? Do you guys remember?
I can find it quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were dating at the time, and he was like 18, and she was like in her late 30s.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Diana Hyland?
that sounds right.
Yes.
That sounds like a woman in her late 30s.
Yeah, it sounds like her.
She died in 77 at the age of 41.
So sad.
And
Where he was filming something and it was like, and he had to like leave and come back, and it was like all so
Yeah.
tragic. And his castmates were all like, oh my God. That's what they said. They were like, oh my God.
well, I don't know if she divorced her husband for John Travolta, but I think she might have.
Okay. I mean, who wouldn't?
That's all sordid conjecture. I won't go further down that path. So, sorry, we're off on a Travolta tangent.
Remember in Greece where he turns around and he gets that cigarette in his mouth? The first time they show him, like pretty much it goes bum 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 bum, and he's so fine.
Do you still have an affinity for John Travolta, or has that passed?
Wait.
Well, for John Travolta then, but do you watch his new movies?
No.
Okay.
No.
Did you watch Battlefield Earth?
Oh my God.
Okay.
I know he's
So-
friends with Pitbull.
Is that a deterrent for you?
Yes, I don't care for that.
You don't even know Pitbull's real name.
No. Let me think of the last Travolta movie I saw in the theater. I was tempted to see Gotti just because I heard it was so
Oh,
terrible. But it was probably Face Off. Like that's the last
No.
movie I remember going to the movie theater to see a John Travolta movie.
At
Face
least
Off
you
would have
picked a
been
great one.
97, right?
6, I think.
Somewhere around there. He
Because
had
I
like,
think Con Air's
Fiction.
97.
yeah, Pulp Fiction's
Pulp
94.
Fiction's 94.
Yeah.
I believe Face Off is 96 and Con Air is 97, I think.
Oh, I saw
I-
Con Air too. So there.
Con Air is just me thinking about Nick Cage.
Travolta didn't make it into Con Air.
Oh, Face Off is 97 too. Never mind.
So he had that run though in the mid 90s, basically that Pulp Fiction kind of resurrected
Yeah. Oh, for
his
sure.
career.
Oh, I love Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, he was kind of DOA for a long time.
Oh yeah, he was doing Look Who's Talking, and
Mm-hmm. But
That's-
All of
he's done so many movies. There's just a lot of ones that we don't talk about.
Yeah, we should also watch Gotti. Do you like that I'm making all these plans for these movies we're going to watch that we're not even going to talk about?
Well, that's the Splinter podcast that we're going to
Yeah.
we're going to splinter off and do those. Travolta cast.
Yes, we could do a whole different show, just Travolta.
Sean's going to have to edit that one.
Fine, I'll take on that.
I love Sylvester Stallone too.
Hey, I've got the whole Rambo series over there. Well, except for I don't have the 5th one, but I've got the whole Rambo
Mhm.
series on Blu-ray. I love Stallone.
If a Rocky marathon is on,
Yeah.
my husband walks downstairs and he goes, "Oh boy." Like he
Yeah.
just knows that is what's happening with commercials. Even though I could just watch it anytime I want, I will watch the 1 through 5 all day, every day.
He just comes downstairs with like a pair of sweatpants and some
Uh-huh.
like popcorn.
Yeah, that and Goodfellas is another one. If that's on, no matter, again, commercials, everything, I will not turn that movie off. I just have to watch it. What's it? So I just love, I think, Italian guys.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Newsflash.
Newsflash.
So, what expectations do you have for your return to Urban Cowboy?
I'm sure excited. Like, just thinking about getting really excited to watch it again because, like, I'm like, what is the story? So I'm excited to see what it is because all I have are these flashes of the pretty girls, the bull, the songs in the bar, and that there's an uncle
Character.
a major character who's an uncle who he works for. So yeah, just to piece it all together and to look at John Travolta again.
Do you think you'll like it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I don't think I'm gonna watch it and be like, well, okay, now I'm thinking, did it age well? Probably not. But maybe it did. Maybe it's gonna be great. Maybe it's gonna win an Oscar this year.
Yeah, it could work.
It's looking increasingly likely that Amelia Perez will win nothing after being nominated for 13.
Yeah, there might be an opening.
Mm-hmm.
We're recording this in February, early February, by the way, audience. This is well before the Oscars actually happen.
This is well before we had any idea that Urban Cowboy was going to get an honorific Oscar.
Right.
So it just, it seems like we're having a good time and not being prescient, but obviously, this is before it actually happens.
Yeah, before it wins Best Movie Ever.
Yeah.
Right. Best Travolta ever.
But probably Best Mechanical Bull.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, that might be a lock.
Uncle, maybe.
Best
this uncle that Sean and I have no recollection of at all.
Best supporting uncle.
Best use of Devil Went Down to Georgia in a movie.
See that song? That's great. That's a good country music song.
Well, Lori, where can the audience find you?
They can find me on Instagram at Lori Works From Home. During the pandemic, I dressed up every single workday as a character from a different 80s movie. And I took that very seriously.
When did that end, Lori?
Oh, I did like 500 posts, I think.
Oh my God.
Because I went right up until I had to go back to work. I dressed like that uncle. You can find it on there. I'll find it and text it to you.
Nice.
Interesting that you chose the uncle character, though.
Well, I also did not do Bud. But, I just remembered when I dressed like the uncle. Like, I would just look up my favorite movies and look up, and I'm like, I have a red bandana and I have some black glasses, so I could be the uncle from Urban Cowboy. And I would post it on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. And this guy, the actor, no idea who he is, he was on Twitter and he responded and he goes, hot damn, I thought that was me. Like, I look so much like the uncle from Urban Cowboy. I got to find it. Your phone number so I can send it to you. I know you're waiting on pins and needles.
So Lori Works From Home, and that's Lori, correct?
Yeah. Lori Works From Home. And then you can find me at the Siren Theater doing sketch comedy and doing 80s movie parodies live on stage.
Is that with Ted Douglas?
Yes, with Ted.
That's sirentheater.com.
Yes.
That's where you can find out a lot about that stuff.
One of the best places in the world to laugh is the Siren Theater, Shelley McClendon's Siren Theater, the best. So I do that, and I'm on Instagram, and then I don't know. I'm not really anywhere else right now.
Okay. Yeah, social media is kind of a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Well, Lori, I look forward to watching Urban Cowboy for the first time in at least 20 years.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Same.
I wish we could watch it together.
Sean, can you book us flights to wherever?
Yeah, sure. I'll get us. I mean, what's equidistant for all of us? Probably Josh's house.
Yeah.
We could have a little viewing party. What we want to do, Lori, though, is watch it separately so that our notes and our experiences we can talk about and have them be unadulterated. And you don't just hear Josh and I riffing, which is what we would do.
Yeah.
Sure. I'd be like, shh, you guys.
And if
However
we're
you
not
want to watch
enjoying it, it'll ruin it for you. If we're not enjoying it, it'll.
I
Yeah,
understand.
it'll be
But
bad.
however you want to do it, if you want to find the VHS cassette tape of this that you had and then go to Goodwill and buy a VCR, or if you just
I was thinking I do have a VCR in our spare room. I would just have to have someone hook it up for me because I need help.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, however you want to do it, if you want to do it, with the fam, if you want to do it solo, but we will reconvene. The next time that we will talk, we will all have seen Urban Cowboy.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Well, Lori, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Till next week.
Till next week.
Can't wait.
That was another installment of The Unkind Rewind, mining our childhood for content, one film from a guest's past at a time. Unkind Rewind is a Munchcasts production and can be listened to wherever you download your podcasts and watched on the Unkind Rewind YouTube channel. Music for this and every other episode of Unkind Rewind was composed by Divorcio Suave. Rate, review, like, and subscribe to Unkind Rewind on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and Good Pods. Links to all of our social media accounts are in our show notes, but you'll find us as at Unkind Rewind Pod on Letterboxd and nearly every social media platform, all of which can be found at our website, unkindrewind.com. If you have a question, concern, complaint, or feedback, you can email the podcast at unkindrewindpod@gmail.com or call into our call-in line, area code 507-479-6440, and leave a message that can be played on air. Fans should join the Munchcast Discord to discuss this or any other episode of The Unkind Rewind with like-minded people. This dialogue may just make it into a future episode of the pod. The Unkind Rewind Patreon will be coming soon, so start squirreling that pocket change away. Thank you for listening to The Unkind Rewind.